smack dab in the middle of fall allergy season. And while symptoms vary from person to person, many people exhibit the same signs of allergies in the fall as they do in the spring. Allergy specialists over at Sanford say getting ahead during allergy season is crucial. Right now, many allergies are coming from grass or weed pollens that are causing nasal congestion, while typically over-the-counter medications such as Zyrtec, Claritin, and Allegra. Doctors say it's important to get in and see a doctor if your typical medication isn't working.
And especially if they're very bothered by the symptoms, meaning they can't go to school, they can't go to work or something, it's really impacting kind of their day-to-day lives or impacting the activities that they're doing, then definitely they should be in so we can take a look at them and maybe prescribe different medications for them.
Cleveland says they expect fall allergy season to last until at least late October.
People are invited to join the